This is one of the most iconic and scariest images of all time to be shown on film. While looking at it normally, it really doesn't feel scary without context. You can be thinking right now, why is this guy just standing in a corner looking down at his shoes? And you aren't the only one who thought that at first, because I certainly did. What you don't realize is the medium that this scene occurs in, and what makes this scene so frightening. This is the Blair Witch Project, and how it changed moviegoers today, and the horror genre forever.
I'm coming! My boots aren't laced! Oh my god, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
The Blair Witch Project is a found footage horror film that was directed by two, at the time, University of Central Florida film students named Danny Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. They had an ambition of wanting to make an actual movie, and they came up with the following concept. The movie would act as a documentary, and would follow a group of 3 college students who traveled to Burkesville, Maryland, to film a documentary about the legend and myth of the Blair Witch, who has connections to brutally murdering young children in the early 1940s. It was filmed mainly in Burkesville, but some of the woodland scenes were shot in Seneca Creek State Park. Shot on around a $35,000 to $60,000 budget, but combined with marketing and post-production, the cost came around to $250,000 to $750,000. The film is portrayed to be the lost found footage from the group that went missing there about a year ago. Danny and Eduardo were looking for actors that could come up with lines on the spot, and so they hired actors Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard through an open phone call. Almost all of the dialogue in the Blair Witch Project was semi-improvised, and that's one of the factors that makes it feel very real to some people. During the production of the film, the actors were given clues scattered all around the woods, and they found them using GPS coordinates which contained minimal food and water, some supplies, and notes for what they were going to do the following day. The directors also used several methods to scare the actors in order to get a genuine and realistic performance out of them. Here was what Eduardo Sanchez had to say in a Vice interview about it. It was like theater in the woods, and we played the Blair Witch, so it was at certain times you'd be like, alright, it's midnight, we have to go out there and run around or whatever, and each night we had a plan. So we would go out there and we would get into little groups and make noises and do this, do that, and once we got what we needed, we were like, okay, we're good, and walked out of there at 2 a.m. after scaring the actors. Here's another snippet of what actor Joshua Leonard had to say about production. People always ask if we were actually scared when the filmmakers messed with us in the middle of the night. The answer is not really, because what was usually happening behind the scenes was we were exhausted and hungry and often wet. We'd set up camp and crash, and just about the time we got warm enough in our damp sleeping bags to fall asleep, the guys would start playing a boombox with creepy children sounds outside the tent. As you can tell from this, it was pretty exhausting to make this film and was really hard work. But whenever the directors really scared them too much, they would stop to make sure the actors were okay. As a matter of fact, Heather Donahue had to change her legal name to Ray Hant because she wanted to separate herself from the Blair Witch Project because it had affected her so much. The Blair Witch Project's marketing was unlike any other marketing strategy ever done before, and it changed the way we market movies nowadays. It used the internet, which was still relatively new at the time, as a marketing technique. This fake missing poster was used to make it act as if this was real in order to get people to go see it. And it was also the website, which is still viewable now via Time Machine, and I will leave a link in the description for anyone to go and check out. The website had all kinds of things to add on to the lore behind the film, such as photos, Heather's journal, and information regarding the filmmakers. This really caught people's attention, with the website now being visited over 160 million times. People were very invested in what this film had to offer. The Blair Witch Project premiered at the Sundance Film Festival on Saturday, January 23, 1999, and earned over $1.5 million in its opening weekend, and when it finished its theatrical run, it had grossed $140.5 million in the United States and Canada, and grossed $108.1 million in other areas, with a total of $248.6 million being totally earned, which is over 4 times the original budget of the film earned at the box office. The film became a cultural phenomenon and was for some time the most profitable indie film ever until Paranormal Activity took that crown, with its budget being around $15,000 to $200,000 and making $194 million at the box office. If you were alive in 1999, you would know that everyone was talking about this movie. The film scared people to death, and that made people want to go see it. They wanted to see it for themselves, and I can't imagine what the experience of watching the Blair Witch Project in a theater was like. The film has sparked even more found footage horror movies such as Wreck, Paranormal Activity, Hell House LLC, VHS, Cloverfield, and Host, including much more. The genre has gotten so much more popular and recognizable from the Blair Witch Project and changed the horror genre forever. But how bad did it actually scare the audience is the question. Well, this is the answer. The Blair Witch Project is known for being one of the scariest horror films ever made, but how scary is it really? Well, it depends on who you talk to. Keep in mind, this was such a different film than anything else at the time, and nothing like it really existed, so it was very unique for the time. The film acts as if the events captured on the footage are real, and it focuses on psychological horror, which could be extremely horrifying if executed well. Psychological horror lets your imagination do everything. You never see the Blair Witch a single time in the movie, and your mind is left to picture what it looks like, and it does this extremely well. For example, the scene where the group gets suddenly attacked by kids pushing down at their tent is terrific, and you watch as they try to escape and run for their life. And when Heather yells, "What the fuck is that?" you don't see what she is looking at, but you know it was the Blair Witch, and your mind is left to picture what it could look like. And trust me, your mind can picture a lot of things. It's what makes the scares so brilliant in this movie. There's no jump scares, no music, and no visible animals or creatures, and it's executed to perfection. Another example could be when Heather finds Mike standing in the corner, which has been such an iconic image in the horror fandom, and is the most famous scene in the entire movie. While some people find it stupid and ridiculous, they need to realize that this scene alone is not scary. Here, look at the image now. This is not scary at all. It's just a dude checking out his fancy shoes he got from the nearest Walmart. What makes that scene so terrifying is the way he is standing. There's no emotion coming from him, and he just doesn't move. He never turns back to Heather as she tries to cry out for him. He could be dead for all you know, and it builds a sense of fear in you. If Mike was your friend, you would be absolutely terrified. And to see your friend like that not responding to you with stillness and silence echoing throughout the basement is bone-chilling. Heather's reaction of screaming combined with pure nothingness coming from Mike, which takes a turn when she gets killed, or does she, leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It just leaves so many questions. There are countless theories online about this ending, and Myrick and Sanchez have not said anything about it. Not even a single clue, and for years, people have still not figured it out. And what makes it even more disturbing is not knowing what happens. For example, if the Blair Witch was on screen, I personally do not think the film would have scared moviegoers as well as it did in 1999. In conclusion, yes, the film can be extremely scary if you look at it the right way. But there are many more found footage movies now that I think can definitely scare you better, I would say. But the Blair Witch Project was just one of the first to popularize the genre and change horror movies forever. This has been Tricks25, and thank you for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, I would certainly recommend liking the video and clicking the subscribe button, as it helps my channel grow and be seen more by many other people. I would also appreciate if you left a comment down below for any future video ideas, as I have plans in the future to make more videos like these, so stay tuned and have a happy Halloween.